Hello, hello, Christiane. كيفك? How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
Thank you for taking the time
It's a
to
pleasure.
chat on the Courage to Fall podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that a good title would be The Transformation Coach Who Transformed Herself.
That sounds good.
No?
Yes, why not? Of course. That sounds great, actually. It applies.
So tell us a little bit. Which angle? I know you've done a lot. So which angle would you like to take today
Well,
for this conversation and to give some value to our viewers and listeners.
well, there are two main parts, I think. That would be, I think, what a lot of people relate to is the personal side. I mean, our personal life with the different phases, the ups and downs. And that is very closely related to the professional part. Because, of course, as you know, our emotions and our personal state of mind does affect a lot also our professional life, goes without saying. So I think those two pillars of my life were the most challenging.
So
Yes.
take us back, take us back uh,
How back?
to the beginnings, to the beginning. I don't know. You take us back. I'm here to
Well,
enjoy the trip with you. Yes.
okay, so I'll take you back to the start of my career because it
Okay.
started because of a personal challenge. So it was challenging myself personally and to get into the a professional life. I started my career as an image consultant,
Hmm.
and actually it was my first real job, and it was quite late actually because life was like that. I was mostly giving my time for my family and for social work. I have been in humanitarian activities and fully volunteering for an NGO. So this is how my first, let's say, 30 years were mostly. This is where I've put all my energy and my time between family and humanitarian work. Then one day, just before turning 30, I realized that, you know what? I need to do something because I've always dreamed of having a career. So the challenge was to find what to do. And
Before we do that,
yes,
can you tell us more about the family and the non-profit or humanitarian work?
yes, of course. So the family, so I was married back then and I had my daughter. Uh, and I think, like a lot of couples or families, there are a lot of challenges. And but I'm grateful, I'm grateful for everything because I believe it's part of the journey, right? So and the humanitarian side was actually the NGO is called AFEL, Association du Foyer de l'Enfant Libanais,
Uh-huh.
which is an NGO that's very dear to my heart because this year actually they're celebrating the 50th anniversary and taking care of social cases and the children who are in danger or who are abused or who are not safe, in their families, or they are not putting in school. They're not
Mm-hmm.
being put in school actually because the parents are, here and there, and they're not taking responsibility and all that. So for me, it was a great cause, and uh, um, it was like part of my life. It was part of my mission.
Nice,
And I've been
nice.
in the humanitarian. I've always had this in me. I think it comes in our DNA in the family. Uh, you know, being there and giving what we have with people who have less or need support. This was, I think, part of uh, the way we were brought up in my family. So I really dedicated all of my time to AFEL until the day I felt my daughter was like 3 years, where I decided that I wanted to have a career and being independent and starting feeling that I was productive. other than being just productive in a, humanitarian, because I was volunteering also. So I was only volunteering. So getting to my career, actually, it was a challenge to find exactly what I wanted to start a career in. And this is where I discovered the image industry, the image consultancy that did not exist in the region, in the Middle East. So I digged a bit and I did my research and I decided to go to France, to Paris exactly, and get certifications, my first, my second. I was very supported by my ex-husband, my daughter's dad, and my family. So I went for, a couple of months, and meanwhile I had my company starting, and this is how I jumped, actually. A lot of people were mocking a bit because the field was totally new. I was the first certified image consultant in the region. And so people didn't have this notion of, investing or paying for services such as image consulting. Like people would say, oh, so now are you serious that people would come to you and pay you money so you tell them how to dress or how to talk or. So I really believed in that. And it was part of my mission in general, like really trying to make people's lives better. And as I told you, actually, it came from a personal challenge related to my own image as a woman. Uh, since we are kids, we are the body image and the self image is not always easy, to deal with. So personally, it has always been a big challenge, dealing with um, my physical image. You gain weight, you lose weight, being a part of a big family, and the culture and so on. So this is why actually I started in image, because I wanted, actually my mission was to show people that it was not a matter of weight, of age, of that you can always be elegant, stylish in a way, be yourself. So my first motto was love yourself, be yourself. So really to show people and give them the tools to get back to their themselves, their confidence, and believe in their uniqueness also, and that they can be beautiful and noticed and have this presence and charisma without trying to be someone else. Sorry, I went for a
Question.
long talk.
No, no, it's excellent. Take me to the, if you can, still remember the day you did your research or the period you did your research, saying until you found what you wanted to do. You see, that thought process that you mentioned, something that I did that when everybody else did not understand. And what is it? What are those ingredients?
Well, the first thing I did was asking people around me. And
Okay, so that's one.
I started thinking, because basically I grew up in Paris, in France, and I started in my studies at university. First, I wanted to be a lawyer. Then I realized that I wasn't made for, staying hours and hours in libraries and learning and all that. Although I love the cause, the battle of a lawyer, because I want to save the world. Then I decided to go into communication, into PR and all that. And I graduated in communication arts in Lebanon. So for me, this communication side has always been very important.
Mhm.
And throughout the years, I was still searching, where do I see myself, like as a career? Sometimes we like things, but it's not where we really find ourselves working, because I believe that what we do for a living should be something we're passionate about, unless we really need the money and we need to get a job, like a random job. But really starting a career for me is totally a passion. So I
Mm.
started asking around me, what do you think I should do? So I listed a few things, like maybe working in the field of communication, radio, TV, because I graduated. So in radio, TV, maybe in production. But back then, with my daughter who was young, and it wasn't really the best choice. So asking here and there, and I had several people very, very close to me who were saying, Christiane, you're very good at making people feel good about themselves. You're very good at guiding people, mostly women, into regaining their femininity and, taking care of
mm,
their body, of their image. And said, yes, I love doing this. And I had this very close friend of mine who told me, she told me, you know what? You really transformed me. We were still at university back then, so we were really very young. And she said, I never forget how you stood by me and you really transformed me to become who I am today. Like a real woman, like bringing out her femininity, the way she dressed, the way she talked, the way she presented herself. I said, you know what? You should do this for people. Said, but you know what? I do help people go shopping, go like, taking them to wouldn't say grooming, but really taking care of themselves, and making them feel good about who they are, like regaining self-confidence and all that. So I said, yeah, okay, I do this anyway. She said, no, you should do that as a business. I mean, said, I didn't realize that, I'm just, uh, helping people, out of kindness or out of, you don't make friends pay, you can just cater for this, for free. Said, no, you know what? I heard there is someone and it's a business. So this is where I started doing my research and asking around. So people would say, it seems like, yeah, it suits you. And I started realizing that I really love doing this. I love uh, guiding people, coaching people on that and making them see the best part of them that we usually not see. And maybe it came because I was dealing with the same thing, you know?
So interesting. What you're saying is one, I was experiencing a problem, right? Two, I asked, and I knew I wanted to do something, right? And you said, I want to move into being productive, and you probably meant is financially productive
Yes,
because you were productive on a volunteer basis.
definitely.
Three, you went out and you asked people around, what do you think? Just to get you did your field research actually. And then four, you found one person, or that one person found you, or whatever it was, to tell you, hey, you should do this. And that's wonderful. So the way I see it is, were there any other elements to your decision making of saying it's time to do this for a, a living?
Um, I mean, other than, that time where you feel I'm ready,
Hmm.
you just feel ready that,
What does it mean to feel ready?
well, to feel ready is like, well, I don't believe in things like it's time or it's not the right time, but feeling ready is like nothing will stop me. Like I wouldn't settle for anything less than being like, a career woman. Like um, I see when you see the value of what you're planning or what you want to do, you just let go, of things that are around you. And I think also what convinced me even more was a bit the resistance, or not the resistance, I would say how people would, some people did, a lot of people did not support me. So I think this made me even more determined just to prove that I could do this and prove some people wrong. So the challenge was more interesting.
So the challenge was yeah, you were challenging the status quo, you were challenging the people around you to tell them, listen, I can do this. Were you sure you were going to do this at the time?
Well, I know I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
So, I mean, you mean was I sure I was gonna succeed, or was I?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I believe I never really thought of anything as am I gonna succeed? I never did, or maybe I did very few things knowing I would succeed. I believe in trying, because if you don't try, you never know. And what guarantee do you have anyway on anything? Because anything can happen, even if sometimes you might be sure, yes, I will do this and I will get there. You never know. I mean, so you don't have certainty about anything. This is
Mm.
my belief. So being sure to succeed is already not so challenging. And I think it loses the taste of the spices of the adventure, of the journey. Like, it's too predictable. It's too. I think this is the beauty of life, because it's so unpredictable. If you just know, I'm going to go from here to there, and then it's going to be sunny, and then. So I believe this is the beauty of it.
So you mentioned lots of interesting terms to me, at least. One is the spices, the journey, the adventure. And for you, it sounds like this is the actual fun part. Now, whether you get there or not is a different story.
Of course, because I mean, you don't really get nowhere. Wherever you go, you're getting somewhere,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So it doesn't really matter. I mean, you tried, you believed in something, you believed in yourself, you had a plan, sort of. And we know, I mean, throughout life, we've been through so much. And I don't believe it's like when you get married and you love the person and you see yourself growing old, or, living your entire life with this person, but then things happen. It doesn't mean like, it's not about things going wrong, but it just, you get closer to things and then you see better, you see differently. So throughout the process, you grow. You see, you have a different perspective, you have different emotions, different feelings. I'm not just talking about the couple and the marriage, but I'm talking about life in general. So yeah, I always believe that I don't believe in failure. Personally, I do believe in experience, in lessons, in trials. Uh, so it's all fine for me. It's never. I mean, I do enjoy the process and the journey in general. It doesn't mean I don't nag sometimes, or I'm not upset, or I get angry. But these things fade, and you remember the really good moments. You keep sometimes those tough times where you might have been hurt, or you might have been, really down. But yeah, that's part of the game.
How I remember you mentioned I was working volunteer and then I started making money. How did you transition into charging people money for something you had given gladly and happily for free?
Thank you for the question, because this is something, I started back in 2003.
Okay.
And so it's been a long time, and this has always been my weak point, I would say. I do value a lot my knowledge, my expertise, how much you invest in time, and, everything you do to become a better person, not only person, but in your profession. But then again, yeah, this shift was very tough, very tough. I got better with time. This is why I had to hire someone to take care of the financial part of my business, because I've always had this feeling that why would I charge, when sometimes I felt like I can do it for free. But then you realize that really it was a lot of work on my perception and my relation to money, you know. Um it's not that I'm not proud of it, but it's very challenging, because at some point it becomes, this is where you realize that it's normal, to charge. It's normal to be paid. It's normal. I think it's part of my education,
Mhm.
and where actually you're brought up to always give and not really take, and this relation to money, that uh, we should give more than we take. So it has always been, yeah, the shift was very, very difficult. And I have to confess that I still struggle sometimes with this. So,
Let's dig into this,
ah,
if you don't mind.
okay.
For one, set it up. Tell us about your setup, your company, and then you mentioned something I had to bring someone to deal with my finances, right? And then your relationship with money.
Ah,
Give us the whole setting, the context first, and then we talk about the We continue.
Okay, so the setup was basically I created a company, and because I had in mind to create like a hub for consultants and coaches, like a hub for to cover the 360 of the well-being of people, individual and in the corporate side, because actually the biggest part of my business started also with the corporate clients. Um, so this is why I created a company, because I had this dream, then again, you have this vision and this dream, and then things happen along the way and you change. So yeah, I started with that, and so I had to hire someone because I wasn't really prepared also to deal with the office work and stuff like that. So I was learning because I'm coming from a different background. And so charging was also a bit, it wasn't easy because it was something new, it was a totally new industry. So how do you really charge for services that do not exist in the region? So I learned this, actually, I brought this back with me from my trainings and where I studied in France and in the US, but I didn't feel it really matched the culture here. So this also was a bit, I mean, when you don't know that this is a service you pay for, so how is the value there? This is one of the things that actually was difficult for me. Like, can I charge like $100 for a session when someone comes and I should tell them one, two, three? I mean, they don't even know what are they paying for. It's a service. It's difficult. It's not like you're buying something like a product.
Mhm.
Services are always difficult to monetize. So so yeah, so that's how things went, and my
How?
assistant. How?
When you say this is how things went,
So,
my question is how? Because you just said I have a service nobody knows about, which
yeah,
can, by the way, go both ways. You
exact
could charge
exact.
a lot for it, or it can people don't understand anything about it. So
So
tell us how. Yeah.
the way I was coached about my business, it was related to actually how much the impact that you create in people's lives and the time, because there is a big part of the service where actually it's time saving. When you teach people how to look, how to dress, when you fix their image, they have to spend less money and less time on showing up and feeling better and so on. So this is how actually it's how the fees were set by my coaches and by my trainers. Um, so I decided to go along to overcome actually my fear and my lack of. I wasn't at ease at first, but then I was convinced because I was investing a lot of time, a lot of money in my education. I used to go back and forth for a continuous education. So I did set my. I learned something lately. I don't put investments or fees. I put investment in yourself. How
Okay. Relabel. Relabel.
relabel. So, yes, I set the fees according to what I was told. And actually, I positioned my business really on the higher scale because I was also the only one on the market. So this is exactly what happened, that it was very challenging because people wouldn't really understand, how to, is it expensive? Is it not expensive? So once you show them the value of it and the change it's going to create and what it's going to save in time and money and so on, this is where people started understanding that it is very valuable, that it's actually it's costly maybe, but not expensive because you have the value in it. So I convinced people, not, I mean, I coached people and I was coaching myself at the same time because I was giving value to my knowledge and to my expertise. So this is what I mean by how things went. And my auditor was my main my main coach, let's say, um, because also unfortunately, it was difficult for people to understand the value. For some people, it was we had to go after them for them to settle their invoices.
Mm.
So that also the
Collection, collection.
collection, yes, yes,
Mm.
collection of the invoices. Yeah, that was quite an adventure actually. My relationship to money. It's interesting you're bringing this up now.
But because that's what's so there are two strong themes here. When you're introducing something totally new, how do you price it? And you said link it to value, link it to saving time, link it and see it from, in this case, the client's perspective. What is the value you're bringing to the client?
Exactly.
And yet still the money issue
What do you
and the
mean?
challenge and the collection. And
Yes, yes, definitely.
do you still have the same issues?
I'm getting better. I'm getting
How?
better.
How are you getting better?
Well, I think when you see actually the market, this is one. Now, of course, with the couple of decades that went through, and you see that, of course, the industry grew, but it went in all ways. Like in any industry, I think you have people who just, kind of not parasites, but I mean, they just claim to be coaches, they claim to be consultants and I think this is very harmful for any industry, when you
Mm,
really have put your soul and everything and you invested so much. But anyway, the idea of studying or watching the market and seeing where now how people are paying. I would use paying here, not investing in some services that, from my point of view, from my humble point of view, as an expert, I feel that sometimes a lot of people overprice. And this is where people actually, when I mean, the background of the service provider, you know, and this is where you realize when you are a pioneer and you've come all this way and you realize, you know what? Reposition yourself properly. I mean, it's a wake up call. Like, but because there is always this little voice in my head that says, "But Christian, you're also in the helping. You're still in your mission." But then you have people like business coaches that you have to hire to remind you that you know what. Actually, at the end of the day, giving. Um, you're giving your knowledge, your expertise, your know how, your years and decades of, I would say, of serving to really, you're providing to people. You're not selling. When you really see that this is part of your mission, but
mhm.
it's your right to be paid properly for it. So, this is how actually I was dealing or healing my relationship to money.
And now, if I want to hire you for my image, so
Yes.
you're comfortable charging?
Yes, of course.
Good,
Yes.
good for you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. It wasn't easy, really. It wasn't easy. So, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I
It
definitely,
looks so. This is where one of the areas you transformed in, how
yes.
you see money requested in lieu of services you give, of value you give, and what have you. Any other big challenge today in your business that
Uh,
you're facing?
yes, I would say one of the biggest challenges today is mostly social media.
What
And
about it?
from what I see from colleagues, from a lot of people who are starting new businesses or people who also have been like me in business for, a long time. When we started, we didn't have social media,
Mm,
All we had was a website,
mm.
and then Facebook was created, and then much later we started Instagram and so on. So you have a total different dynamics. I mean, it's life is different. I mean, even our personal lives have changed totally with social media. Like, it's such a huge world out there with so many people and doing so many things. Um, So my biggest challenge since like a couple of years, because I had this break. I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but I had like a break for a couple of years from my business, and then I decided to come back. So coming back, this was the biggest challenge, and coming back into a world that I felt like the 2 decades went through, past, during those couple of years, and not couple of years, because also with COVID, the social media, became even broader and noisy and loud. So you have to, just, find yourself and make your space for yourself, and show people who know you should see that you're back. And people who don't know you, which is like a zillion times more than people who know you, have to get to know you and know that you exist. And so yeah, is really to be active on social media and to be consistent. It's not like, okay, I posted something and what to post exactly and how to post. And it's not only the tech savvy thing. It's like it's a full job, social media, to keep up with the rhythm of social media and what they tell you, the algorithms, and you have to post 3 times a day. And I mean, it's a whole world. And this, for me, actually, this I think is actually still one of the biggest challenges. So you have to hire someone for that, right? And you need to delegate for things, because I see the value of delegating, because there's so much to do, when you're getting back to your career. I believe it's even maybe more challenging than when I started, even though I have more knowledge and more practice and more everything. But back then, with all the challenges, I was the only one, or either I forgot.
Mm. So you were the only one, and you had a website, and the website was the big thing at the time, and a
Yeah.
little bit of Facebook. That's
No,
it.
it
And
wasn't
you
fair back then.
not even wait. Okay. And then you took a break, came back, and it's the jungle out, the digital jungle out there.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's like you're drinking from a hose or from a river. And my question for you is, can you create a system where social media is not necessarily uh, what you want to do, or it's not necessarily needed? Can you still carve a niche?
Without social media, you mean?
Yeah.
I think it should be doable, you know? I mean, the old way, but it does take also a lot of work. I mean, you have to be you have to be personally there. I mean, back then, what what did we used to do? You would prepare your portfolio and you go, I would say door to door. You go directly and pitch and tell people what you do. I mean, I'm talking mostly about the corporate clients.
Yes. Yes.
Um, my added value, I mean, my big support back then is that I was on TV. I quite quite early in my career, I got to be on TV. I had my own show. So it was a different type of media. It wasn't social media, is what it was TV. So that was a very good tool for me to get people to know me. Although I believe I didn't really get a lot of business out of being on TV, but I definitely got, some presence out there. I mean, people would recognize, because back then people would watch a lot of TV. I think now it's less and less. I mean, for myself at least. But I believe, to get back to your question, I believe we can still do it without social media. It's a different approach. Um, we can still, now today, the email marketing is a big thing. But there's I think, more personal effort. And I believe it would still be local. I mean, the advantage of social media is that your reach is much wider and bigger. You know
Mm.
that I'm. I mean,
What is the minimum? What is the minimum you cannot live? without. When it gets to the toolkit for you to market your brand, your services as a solopreneur today who came back, what is
Mm.
the minimum that you cannot live without?
As tools, right?
As tools, like website is there, right?
Website is there. Uh, from my personal experience, I don't feel like people rely on websites anymore. This is
Okay.
my point of view. I might be wrong. It's important for it to be there. We need to have it. Like for there are many people who still go and look up your website. But what I discovered is that people, whether corporate or individual, uh, always go look up social media. Like even when you meet someone socially or whatever, people would directly go and check your Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, depending on in what circumstances you meet people. So, I mean, despite social media being such a jungle, I still believe that it's important today.
I
It's
see you very I see you very active on Instagram and consistent. What else are you spending putting effort in?
Well, it's mostly Instagram, actually. I think I know I want to do more. Like LinkedIn for me is, I mean, if you check my LinkedIn, I don't know why I have a lot of connections, but I'm not active as, I mean, I don't post, I don't, I need someone for this also. I'm a bit lazy when it comes to social media. This is, I mean, I don't believe in laziness, but I think what we call lazy is when we don't feel comfortable in doing something and we don't enjoy it. So we just, procrastinate and just say, I don't want to do it or I'm not doing it
Mm.
and I should do it. So this is why I believe in delegating. I really believe in giving, like we say in Arabic, أعطي خبزك للخباز. I believe in working and delegating to people who are um, good at, I mean, who do best what they do. So I know my strength, I know what I'm best at doing, so I'd rather focus my attention, my time, and my energy on what I do best. And probably this is where you need to hire someone to take over and really be more consistent and do this part of it, so you can also save your energy. Because you were asking about the challenges, is today as a solopreneur is how to also save and protect yourself. Because I know from myself, one of the main, if not the main reason why I took that break a few years back was the burnout. When you want to do everything your own and you
Mhm.
want to be everywhere and you want to take all kind of projects and you want to do really be all over the place, whether person on a personal level, I mean in your personal life and your social life and your professional life, and then you get at some place where you feel like nothing is working anymore. So this is why this is one of the things that I've learned from that experience, is that not going back to doing everything my own on my own, because you tend to, and especially now taking the challenge of coming back and being on social media and you want to keep the momentum, and this adds so much pressure. And
Mm.
this, it's like it tickles me and telling me, take it easy. It's okay. Go at your own pace, because otherwise you're gonna, end up somehow exhausting yourself, which I have to confess that at some times of my comeback, I did feel this. And, I'm just like trying to keep myself, to recalibrate myself, to save my energy for the things that I love doing, my passion, which is really coaching, training, consulting, and not wasting the energy here and there on posting on Instagram, posting on LinkedIn, dealing with things that drain my energy actually. And I don't believe that are my strength or what I do best.
By end of year, Christian, what
Yes.
would make هيك put a smile on your face as related to your solopreneurship, your work? By end of year, you look and say, I'll be happy if when. I'll be happy when.
When? Well, I'll take you back to the end of year 2025, because end of 2025, I got to a point like by November, December, I was so rushed because I wanted to prepare for social media, something, like, for the end of the year and posts and stuff like that. And I got very overwhelmed and then I stopped. I paused actually and I started writing down, which, I love writing and I love encouraging people. I highlight the importance of writing just to keep up with what you've done, to document actually daily. So I just took time on my own and I started writing from January 2025 to November
Mhm.
2025. I did like different sections, like on my personal life, on my social life, and on my professional life. And I was shocked because at some point in November, I felt like, no, 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 I still have things to achieve, but I forgot the starting point in January on the different pillars of my life, where I was and everything that I have achieved. And the number of people, I was so grateful for the number of people I had impacted during this year. I might not have reached the financial target I had put, which might probably, which probably wasn't really feasible or realistic, I would say. But, why not dream big? So to answer your question about by end of this year, I wouldn't say I think my smile is daily. I don't want to wait for the end of anything, to be happy or to smile or to feel content or satisfied or proud of my achievements, because this is what I teach people, right? Is like to really acknowledge what we do and give ourselves a tap on the shoulder daily for the little achievements that we do, like really waking up and getting ready for the day. I believe this is a challenge on a daily basis with everything that's going on around us, and everything is built, by really small steps. And I believe in the small wins on a daily basis. So I would say, just to answer exactly your question, even though it's a daily thing for me, like I would be happy and grateful and thankful every day, every single day. But I would be very happy when I get to the end of the year and I realize that I made it. The impact I make on people, realizing my financial target, of course, would be a great uh, a great pride for me, like getting the fruit, or the result of what you've been working so hard. So this kind of achievement and still being there and completing my mission, you know, I think that would be it.
On that note, I can't thank you enough for your time and for your inspiration to move baby steps towards the goal. And I just have a feeling you're smiling on the way and gonna have a very big smile by end of 2026, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Tony. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be on this talk with you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye.
Bye. See you.